Hi, this is Linda with Craft on Q, and I'm here today to make some pinto beans, and I am going to make these in my Instapot on the pressure cooker setting. The reason being is I forgot to soak the beans last night, so that's the easiest way to get those done. But you could also soak your beans overnight and cook them in the pressure cooker as well. You could also use the Instapot on the slow cooker, or in your regular slow cooker. You could also do these on the stove top. All would work equally as well. And the first step is to sort through the beans. And I do that simply by putting a few in my hand and looking at each handful to make sure there are no broken beans on pebbles, rocks, any of that sort of thing. I always pull out the broken beans and ones that sometimes they look a little discolored or just don't look right to me, and I maybe kind of shriveled up. I always pull those out and toss them aside. And for this particular recipe, we are going to need 4 cups of dried pinto beans. So I'm going to continue to do this till I have completed the process of sorting through the 4 cups of beans. As just a side note, I store my dry beans in mason jars, and then I seal the top with my food saver attachment for wide mouth mason jars, and it keeps them nice and fresh. So that's just a helpful hint if you are looking for a way to store your dry beans and not have all those bags in your pantry. At this point, I had rinsed the 4 cups of beans very, very well, and then I put them in a bowl and soaked them. I had about 3 hours that I was able to soak those before I had to get these onto the stove to cook our Mexican lasagna. So that's where I'm at this point. I've already added 2 cups of filtered water, and I'm adding an additional 2 cups to bring the total to 4 cups of beans and 4 cups of water. Then I'm adding 2 tablespoons of the Spice Islands taco seasoning mix that I get from Costco. You could add 3. I only put 2 in because I don't like things really hot, and our grandchildren are here often, and they don't like real hot, spicy things either. So the 2 tablespoons for this amount of beans seems to be the correct amount for our family. In addition to that, I also use a tablespoon of the no chicken base that it's better than bouillon, that I get from Vitacost. And I got this original recipe from Cindy Blevins here on YouTube, and she uses a Knorr chicken base, but of course that is not a vegan ingredient, so I don't use that. I use this no chicken base, and it's just wonderful. Actually, I probably use just shy of a tablespoon of that chicken base in here, and it adds a really nice flavor. You could also use the vegetable, which I have used in here before, and I believe they have a no beef base, but I've not used that before, so I can't say how that would taste. And now I'm just mixing everything up very, very well, and putting the lid on the Instapot to get that going. Make sure that if you have a pressure cooker, you know how to use your particular one. Since mine's the Instapot, you have to take that little knob and push it back to put it on pressure, and I'm checking the book that came with my Instapot, and it's for pressure cooking beans unsoaked, it's 30 minutes, and there's actually a button that will show that. It's beans and chili, I think, and I just hit that button and push the on, or the start, I guess it is, and put that on to cook. And I can just leave that once it's done. I really don't have to worry about it because it'll just stay on a warming cycle until I'm ready to open up the pot and use whatever I've cooked, in this case the pinto beans. So the most important thing I could say is make sure that you take that little lever or button thing and put it towards the back, which is pressure, and just let it go and it will cook and do its thing. And miraculously, it's about an hour and a half or so later, and the beans are done, and you can see that that little button there is down. That means the pressure has released on its own, and I'm safe to take this lid off. So I take the lid off, and it looks dry on top, but they really aren't. You just have to give a good stir and see that all the beans are done perfectly. And if you want them a little soupier, just add an extra cup of water. And I do that sometimes for a soupier bean. But as you can see, I take a bean and smash it on the side, and it's nice and tender, even with just that 3-hour soaking. So they are ready for freezing, which I do the balance of the beans that I don't use in the Mexican lasagna. I just put those in my little food saver bags and freeze those for another meal or another casserole or whatever I'm going to do. But it's a great recipe. I want to thank Cindy Blevins for the inspiration for these because they are just wonderful. I make them often, and our family really enjoys them. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. I would say the most important step here is sorting the beans first and then rinsing well. Thanks for watching. God bless.